For more than 4 decades, the United States and Iran have stood on opposite sides of one of the world's most dangerous rivalries. It is a conflict without a formal declaration of war, yet filled with sanctions, covert operations, assassinations, cyber attacks, and now direct military strikes. When the United States attacked Iranian targets, many people around the world asked the same question. Why now? Was it self-defense, a warning, a political calculation, or the beginning of something much larger? To understand the answer, we have to look beyond the explosions and headlines and examine the long chain of fear, mistrust, and power struggles that led to this moment. This is not just a story about missiles and military bases. It is a story about history, ideology, security, and the balance of power in the Middle East. The roots of this conflict stretch back to when Iran's Islamic Revolution completely reshaped its relationship with the United States. What had once been an allied relationship turned into open hostility after the U.S. Embassy hostage crisis, and from that point on, both countries began to see each other as enemies. Over the years, this hostility evolved into a shadow war. The U.S. imposed heavy economic sanctions on Iran, accused it of sponsoring militant groups across the region, and tried to limit its influence. While Iran viewed the U.S. as an occupying power in the Middle East that threatened its sovereignty and survival, at the center of this tension stood Iran's nuclear program, which the U.S. and its allies believed could eventually lead to nuclear weapons. WHILE. Iran insisted it was for peaceful purposes. Diplomatic efforts rose and collapsed, trust eroded further, and every regional crisis from Iraq to Syria to Israel pulled the two countries closer to direct confrontation. When the U.S. finally chose to attack, it did not happen in isolation. It was a result of years of escalating pressure, intelligence warnings, regional conflicts, and political calculations. American leaders argued that allowing Iran to strengthen its military and nuclear capabilities would pose an unacceptable risk to U.S. interests and its allies, especially Israel. Critics, however, warned that military action could ignite a wider war and destabilize the entire region. This video explores why the United States made the decision to strike Iran, what it hoped to achieve, and whether that decision brought the world closer to security or closer to a much larger and more dangerous conflict.